Greetings and welcome to CRT Gaming Podcast, episode number 33, Mega Man 7. This is Jones, and with me are my good friends Gohan and Dazpick. Dazpick, you had to pick between Lassie, Scooby-Doo, or Rush Dog as a companion. Who do you go with?
I think Rush Dog would get that old yellow bullet.
Gotta put Rush Dog down, do you?
It's gotta go.
It's like sound.
Him and Bass. Screw all those Robo Dogs. It's enough. A couple ounces of lead will solve that problem.
And Gohan, were you surprised, Doctor? Is it Willie or Wily? I never really knew how to say this guy's name.
I would say Wily because there's only one L.
That could be Wily. You know, I don't know how they pronounce it when they created him.
Yeah, who knows? It's probably just a spelling error.
Evil Doc Brown.
Great Scott. Yeah, so we were playing games we never played before, and Gohan had the, brainchild idea of playing Mega Man 7 for the Super Nintendo. So, I think you explained it briefly last week, but what were your thoughts going into this?
Just looking at images of the game, the visuals looked pretty awesome, but yeah, it was a pretty mega mediocre week with Mega Man 7. Like I said last time, loved the old games on the NES, but something about this game, something got lost in translation.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. This is a game, out of everything we've done so far, this is something that really disappointed me. In the sense that I liked Mega Man in the past. I played all the Nintendo ones. Played Mega Man X. I couldn't remember if I played this one or not before, but I
think you'd remember.
Yeah, I kind of remembered a little bit when we started playing it, why I did not play this one. And it just, it was something I thought I'd have some fun with, and I had absolutely no fun whatsoever with. The visuals, though, I thought looked like the sprites, I think looked great. So like in a still picture of this game, it looks great, but I think with the sprites being bigger and larger, it kind of really affects the Mega Man mechanics as far as, it confines the gameplay into a much smaller space. And I think it hurt the game being like this.
I totally agree. We were a couple episodes back, we were kind of talking about Metroid and Metroid 2 specifically, and they had to kind of rescale the character on the screen, and they did the same thing here with Mega Man 7, and it, like you said, Jones, it hurt the game. Like the old Mega Man NES games, they were action platformers. You spent just as much time shooting, blasting bad guys as you did going through jumping puzzles and doing, platforming stuff. And in this game, it really just didn't have that. It had a series of punishing obstacle courses. It didn't have the platforming feeling that the old NES games had.
No, it had more of a sense of kind of, you have to live in the now. Like basically your world exists with what's on screen. Now you have to kind of be aware of what's off screen, but like a normal platformer, as you're going, you're kind of constantly looking as to not only what you're doing, but what you're getting ready to come to. And with the sprites being as large as they were, there wasn't a whole lot of, time to prepare for what's coming, because it was already there. That makes sense.
Yeah, no anticipation.
Yeah, it was you and one other bad guy.
Yeah,
you can anticipate your kind of next few moves. You only got to anticipate one or two moves ahead in this game. And the old Mega Man games, the screen was just had tons of opportunities in it. Whereas in this game, you maybe saw pretty much just 10 feet ahead of Mega Man.
Yeah, and it made me feel like I know Mega Man's always been a challenging game. So I was kind of a little perplexed by it and wondering if it was, if my opinion's jaded or, I just suck, which that's totally possible. But so I went back and I played some of it because I have like a couple of the Mega Man collections on the Switch. So I went back and played, like Mega Man 2 was my all-time favorite Mega Man game.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back and played that. And then I went and played Mega Man 8 on the PlayStation. And it was, again, like it was, granted it had updated visuals, but the sprites were smaller. The stage, your level was bigger, your field of view was further, and it played great. And so I had a good time revisiting 2 and also playing 8. So I'm looking back at 7, and I think 7 itself is the problem. It's got good reviews though, so I don't know how or why, but it does.
Maybe it was just like you were saying. I mean, that was kind of why I picked the game, because if you look at a screenshot, the game has like pretty awesome curve appeal, right? Like it's super bright, super vibrant. The characters themselves, look cool, but yeah, I think this thing that we're kind of talking about was one of the things, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but it was one of the things that kind of turned me off about Mega Man X as well. But it's even worse in Mega Man 7, though, this kind of character that's scaled a little bit differently than the old game, and how big a change just scaling the character up made to the end product.
Yeah, and it was like a scaled up version. I'll go so far to say as aesthetically of the older Mega Man titles. But the older Mega Man, like as I was even playing them, like, like when you're playing a game, like, someone has, when they were creating it, placed a bad guy here at this position for a certain reason. And a lot of times in games, that kind of creates the gameplay, it creates the flow of the game as you're going through it. And I kind of felt like a lot of this stuff was just, it wasn't necessarily gameplay as opposed to elements that were just hazards that were in the game that I had to deal with. I didn't feel like any of it felt rushed to me. Like it didn't feel like someone had sat there and played through it a bunch of times and said, this feels good. I mean, it was a chore. It was it was hard. It was very hard, I thought. It was, and it wasn't like a hard, like when we played Batman. Batman, it was hard, but it was fun. Like I had a good time, getting my ass handed to me. In this game, I just wanted to turn it off. But I did.
That was the best part of the game.
So Daz, are you a fan of the old games? Were you NES Mega Man fan?
I played 1 and 2 and I beat those, and I really enjoyed them. I kind of fell off from the series after that. I came back to it recently and I tried to play the first one, and I was like, holy shit, yeah, this is really hard now.
The first one's rough.
Yeah, it's really hard. And
Gutsman stage.
So when you picked this, I was immediately not enthused, because I already knew, the first one, having recently played it and how hard it was, that I wasn't looking forward to it. And then I turned this piece of shit on, and right from the get, it has a unskippable cutscene that goes on and on for like 5 freaking minutes before you see Dr. Wily, and it's like, Jesus, come on.
Hey, man!
So right then, that put me in a bad mood, because I don't need a freaking story for freaking Mega Man. Come on. And then that Cloud Man can go to hell, and that. Just that.
Okay, so we got to do a quick gut check. Did you guys beat any of the bosses?
No. I didn't. Cloud Man immediately put me in just a horrible mood, and then when I tried the ice level, and it was just a nuisance. I just couldn't wait to turn it off. Sorry. Not a fan.
Well, I will answer this question as Junk Man, Burst Man, Freeze Man, and Cloud Man are the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Because I got to each one of them, and that's as far as I got.
Especially Cloud Man. Especially Cloud Man.
Cloud Man's brutal.
Dude, screw that
Cloud
shit.
Man is... He is...
It is a long fight. It is a long, drawn out...
You don't do any damage to him, man, with your little freaking pea shooter. It's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, and you can't... Then there's two, like, insta-deaths because you fall off the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And then, other than that, he just whittles you down just for, you miss a slide or, it's just... Or he lightning shocks you. Cloud Man's rough. He's like Zeus.
Cloud Man can go to hell. Yeah. Sorry, just left a just terrible taste.
I played long enough to beat the first 4 bosses.
That's
Good on
impressive.
And then when the next wave opened up, I was like, whew. And I'm glad it's Saturday. The one thing that was cool, and it's really just for the visuals, but I can't remember the name of the boss's name. I think it's like Shade Man, maybe. But he is of the second wave of bosses, and his whole level is visually themed like Ghouls and Ghosts. So it kind of looks like a Makai Mora stage.
Nice.
Cool.
I saw the music was in it in the soundtrack, but I did not see the level.
Yeah, but it's unfortunately with a not good game, it was just nothing more than just a little bit of service.
Yeah, that's one thing with the Mega Man games. Like over time, I mean, because like it's a cool, like formula. Like you have like the robots or whatever, and they're called like I said, Mega Man 2 is my favorite. And when you had
2 and 3 are my favorite.
Like Woodman has the leaf shield, so Woodman was my dude. But yeah, it's just like the formula itself kind of, without progressing in any type of gameplay, it kind of gets a little old over time. And that was the one thing.
Knees.
Yeah, that's the one thing with X, it introduced like new gameplay, within the Mega Man franchise. I think they've kind of been better off just to, which just might just boil down to Capcom being Capcom, is, why milk one cow when I can create 2, rather than
Have chocolate milk, strawberry milk, and vanilla milk.
Exactly.
Well, this game is kind of a head scratcher. Like when this game came out, Mega Man X was out an entire year earlier, and also released a year earlier, which is the main reason why I didn't play it, was PlayStation 1 came out. And once the PlayStation 1 came out, like Super Nintendo games, unless it was called Street Fighter, ceased to exist to me. And yeah, it's so kind of head scratching, Jones. It's like, they have the X series and they're making innovations with the X1, 2, and 3, and then they roll back to the old series, and they release it very late in the Super NES's life cycle. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I was playing Tekken, import copies of Tekken with you guys, or Gunner's Heaven.
I think it's safe to say you weren't missing out.
No, yeah, didn't miss anything.
No.
That could be maybe a controversial opinion of mine. I don't like a lot of the older games. Like since we've been doing this, going back and looking at stuff, the outside of really and truly like a handful of titles, I don't have a lot of super fond memories of the Super Nintendo. I felt like the Genesis in my heart totally dominated that war, even though in reality they lost. But
I agree with you completely.
Yeah, I think the Super Nintendo survived on like Nintendo properties.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It doesn't really change my opinion of this game being good or not. This is Capcom's fault. I hold them completely responsible. It is off the top of my head. I'd really have to look at a list of games, but this could be the worst Capcom game that I can think of. I mean, without going to something like, NES era, like Street Fighter.
Okay, I was about to say Street Fighter 2049
Street Fighter 2010 or whatever.
2010 or whatever it is.
2099, what else?
Ken Masters in the year 20XX must fight against crazy Robies.
Negative. That was...
But can you think of one, like post NES area that's a worse Capcom game?
No, I mean, like... After kind of trying out the SNES Aladdin, like that one's not great. Yeah, this definitely was kind of a low point for Capcom and Mega Man.
The Blue Bomber.
He bombed.
He bombed.
So hard. I think the biggest thing for me, I had zero fun with it. Like zero.
That's how I felt. It was not fun. Like
I didn't want to figure out how to do anything. I didn't like it because what you were saying about the sprites being too big. It basically there was room for you and one big ass bear enemy, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. And it was just dumb.
that was kind of the thing with the old NES games, and kind of hear me out. Like there were like these cool moments especially in Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3 where you had to do kind of like Mario level dexterity jumping. And
no, for sure.
Like when you beat those sections in Mega Man 2 and 3, like you beat it, you'd get past it and you would actually feel like a sense of accomplishment. And I think that's the thing that's mainly missing here is like, because the levels aren't that interesting, you don't feel that sense of accomplishment, and by the time you get to the boss, it's, I don't know, it just isn't very, it's a chore. It's not very rewarding.
Yeah.
It's like, and then the boost in the sprite size, like it kind of like opened up things to it, like criticism, like almost for myself. Like for example, like in the original Mega Man or the previous NES versions, like when you're like being shot at or there's things flying, kind of like waist level. Your sprite being smaller, the screen size being larger, it kind of makes sense to jump. Now, when your sprite is like twice as big as it used to be in the bullet's level size, like now it looks more obvious to go under the bullet. Like you should be able to duck or slide a little better, to go under it.
Yeah, the slide is super unpredictable in the game.
Yeah, I give it that.
The slide itself, like if maybe it'd be different if I was playing it on a Super NES pad, but that becomes such an important part, especially against certain bosses. If that isn't feeling good, if that isn't reliable, the boss fight is just excruciating.
Cue up Cloud Man.
See, Cloud Man. Exhibit A, Your Honor.
This is the new Sparkster.
This was more disappointing than Sparkster to me.
Well, yeah, you had no point of reference for Sparkster.
Mega Man's got a positive history.
Exactly. I was experiencing something like new, at least, with Sparkster. This I was, I don't know, like experiencing.
You were looking
something.
for a warm blanket.
I was.
You didn't get that blanket.
Get rolled up in that blue blanket, just comforted, reminded that Mega Man Legends never existed.
Well, moving on.
Yeah. Well, let's well, since we haven't played it, let's give it a rating. I'll go to Dazpick here first, since he's such a big fan of the game.
God. Well, thinking back to what I gave to Sparkster, I'll put it on an equal playing field. This is freaking 2, because I just did not enjoy it at all. Yes, the graphics were pretty, it was neat, but I'd never want to turn this piece of shit on again. And the fact that I don't have to after today just makes me happy. I'll take solace in that fact.
That's your warm blanket.
Yeah. 8.
That there's no Mega Man 7 in the future.
Yeah. Put that on the box. I'll quote. I won't be quite as harsh, but I will not be kind either. I would give it a 3.5. Give it somewhere around there. Just for the simple fact that, I don't know, I may have been a little nicer to it, but through Daz's review, the idea of I'll never play this again, that says something to me. So, and I play some crappy games, and me not wanting to play this must mean it's really crappy. So, 3.5, but it does look good. It's got good graphics.
Yeah, looks great. That's as long as it stays off.
And what would you give it, Gohan?
Yeah, I mean, like you, my favorite Mega Man games were, on the NES. I love Mega Man 2 and 3, and back then I would have put those games around like an 8 or a 9. So it was really disappointing to kind of pick this one off the shelf. Yeah, I would probably give it somewhere around a 5. It is not worth folks' time, and kind of is a definitely one to skip if you're a fan of the series and you want to look in the back catalog. This is an easy skip.
Yeah, like if you want to play Mega Man, there's
go play something else. Go like there's so much else out there. Like don't
8 other ones, like 1 through 6 or 8. Because I tried 8. 8 was pretty fun, actually. I haven't played it in a long time, but it still felt like Mega Man, like old school Mega Man. But well, so we put Mega Man forever sleep
to Mega Bed
in the trash bin of history.
Yeah, little trash dog has been put to sleep. He's in an urn.
It's just
now.
sad. It went down like this.
All right, so Mr. Dazpick, you were supposed to pick a game that you've never played before.
It was kind of tough because like on Sega, on the Genesis, I mean, I played aside from like some shitty sports games, and I even played some of those, but I played a lot of those games, and even if it was just a dabble, because when I worked at a software shop, every time a new game came in, I checked that thing out, took it home, and played it. So I played.
Did they let you do that? Did you get to like check out? Stuff that
every night.
That's so awesome. Like
that was like the reason I worked there.
Dream job back then.
Yeah, that was why I worked there. It was the best thing ever. So I wanted to
Trash Panda, like in heaven,
with a system that I didn't spend a lot of time with, and that was the SNES, because I had one, but I was hardcore Sega, man. Yeah, I had it basically to play Street Fighter.
It's a good reason to have it.
Yeah, it really was it. I mean, I had Street Fighter and I played the shit out of it, but so I started looking through the entire library of Super NES games and tried a few that I never played. Warlock was on the list, and
Warlock. What's Warlock?
Warlock with Julian Sands, son.
Based on the movie?
Yes. And he's even animated in it, and it's actually like very cool looking.
If you guys could see my face right now, it's just like shock and disbelief.
If it didn't suck when I played it, I would have picked it, but it was terrible and I would not have enjoyed it. So I didn't. That one got scrubbed. And then there was Soul Blazer. Then there was Soul Blazer, which was actually kind of cool, like a little Zelda type game, but it was too long to try and dig into over the course of a week. And time being what it is. So I wanted to just kind of find like a shooter, and I tried Axel A, and that to me felt like like a rolling paper, flying over a rolling paper with ships painted on it that you shot, and everything felt very flat. So I didn't really like that one. And then I found this one. I just turned it on because of the name. I was like, all right, let's check this out. It's this game called Cybernator by Konami. I had never heard of this, never turned it on, but you have this little mech, you can fly, and you have like a rotating arm turret that you can shoot, you can punch, and it was actually freaking fun. I blasted through about the first 3 levels of it, and I was having a good time. So I was like, this I don't mind. So yeah, Cybernator, man, give it a whirl.
Cybernator.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it. So
me either.
all right.
But the little mech animates pretty well. Yeah, it was neat. It was a nice little find. I was like, oh, son of a bitch. Didn't suck. It's not Mega Man 7.
Oh, cool. So I guess I'll stick around next week and see what we think of Dazpick's The Cybernator by Konami.
Come with me if you want a retro.
If you want to play.
Hey, and you know what the other thing is? You can skip the cutscenes. Boom. Win.
That immediately adds a whole point to my score.
I was just skipping through it. I was like, check it out. I can skip through it. This is so fantastic. And then I went back and I watched it. But the fact that I could skip it made my day.
Now you gotta watch that story. I'm sure the Cybernator story is riveting. Can't wait for it. It's gonna be awesome.
I think it's right up there with the Daz Society.
Awesome. So until then, this is Jones with Dazpick and Gohan, and we are signing out.
Until next time.
Cybernated.